Yes, boy!
Yes, boy!
Yes, boy!
Yes, boy!
Yes, boy!
Yo. Oh, shit, sorry. What's poppin', all my peeps? It is I, your host, the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the Yard of Streams for another edition of the Smackdown Breakdown, presented to you by Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. And it's not just me, Patty P, here in the Yard of Streams. I'm joined, as always, by the best of the West you can't forget about, Sara Marshall. What's poppin', girl?
Hey, yo!
Hello.
Did you look into my mirror after I got out of the shower and coordinate? Because we were wearing the same shirt, essentially. You just got a turtleneck on. But
I wanted to
coordinated our
match.
outfits today.
Yeah, I was peeping Tom.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in your bathroom.
Yeah, that's a long-ass telescope you got.
Yeah.
From
Actually, it's
Scottsdale.
cameras.
Oh, you got like a ring thing going on?
Yeah, I have them in your mirror.
That's very high tech. It's very futuristic, Sarah. I got to give you credit there. But what's popping? All jokes aside, what's going on?
Craziness. Because of free agency. I know people, every time I talk about football, I remember that people hate
Sarah,
it. But
who cares? Who cares? It's your life. Talk about your life.
I'm working Monday through Friday this week because of free agency. So craziness, but the Patriots are already starting, which is good. But this week is just going to be chaotic, I'm sure, as it always is.
It's going to be very chaotic. NFL free agency is a very chaotic time now because everyone's just glued to their phones, swiping, refreshing their page, looking for the biggest news story of their favorite player being signed to what they hope is their favorite team. You told me, guys like Devontae Adams have signed. It would have been nice to see him on the Patriots, but makes sense for him to go to the Rams. We just signed Austin Hooper, which is cool. To me, it is a very vanilla ice cream move. It gets the job done and is probably best for the team as a, side dish to your dessert, but it's not sexy. It's not a sexy move, which if that's what it's going to take for Mike Vrabel and the Pats to get back in being competitive again, then I'm okay with not having a ton of sexy moves. Yeah. Because I feel like those are in the pipeline.
Well, and people are like forgetting that I know that we've been saying this for a long time. It's been many years. But it's going to take more than one off season for the Patriots to get back to that spot. And yes, we've been saying that, especially since Tom Brady left, but we also have to think we've been through 3 coaches in the last 3 years and very different views on how to build a roster and who they want to look at in free agency versus who they want to look at in the draft and whatever. So like there's a lot of changes that came that then push the idea of being a competitive team a little bit further back every time. Like if we were still having a Bill Belichick and a Tom Brady team in 2025, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation.
No, probably not. No, probably not. It is a very different time period right now for all that. And things are actually looking up. I know people may disagree with that, but no, shit is looking up. Why'd it do that with our fandoms, Yeah. And I'd like for the Patriots to start doing well because after the Bruins yard sale
that was
this
terrible.
past week, that really hurt my soul as a Boston sports fan.
It was really such another reminder of how grateful I am that I do not care about most. Like I root for like Boston.
I get where you're getting.
But my main focus is always Patriots Celtics, and I'm like when I see things like the Mookie Betts trade, and then I see the drama over the weekend with the Bruins, I'm like I am so grateful that I am not emotionally invested in every single one of these teams because I would be in an absolute wreck right now if I was. The Patriots and the Celtics already take up way too much space in my brain. I could not do that with other teams. So
Yeah, thank God it's the casual. It's more of an identity than a fandom. Just
mhm.
culture thing.
Mhm.
Sports are probably up there in top 5 cultural things in Boston. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like it's not about the fandom, it's just a way of life.
Yeah.
So you may not be the biggest Boston Bruins fan, but like you consider Brad Marchand, Charlie Coyle, Boston people. Like
Yeah.
that's part of they're part of your life, your culture. So it just sucks when those moves happen, and
Mhm.
it sucks to have to be reminded that sports are a business at the end of
Yep.
the day. Very
Mhm.
similarly to the WWE and pro wrestling,
No
how
loyalty.
there's no loyalty sometimes. Your favorite wrestler might get released and you have no idea why. And
Mhm.
you know, that's where we come to now because there's a lot of that happening in wrestling, but you know, it's business. It's business, baby. So let's hear from the peeps. Enough of us chit-chatting, yapping away. Sophia is here and she was shocked that Naomi was the one who attacked Jade on Friday night. Nathaniel, the Celtics cheated. Yes, they did. They 1,000% against your Lakers. They try to injure LeBron, but you know what? Hi to you too, Nathaniel. I did see that. I don't know if you saw this, Sarah, but Tatum was driving and
Mhm.
just drove, did a dribble move.
Mhm.
And LeBron, it was like someone took a steel chair to LeBron and hit him across the face the way he reacted. It was crazy. Like,
I I'm
oh,
not surprised about
unbelievable.
it because like I I mean, I'm not unfamiliar with Luca, but damn, I did not realize how much of a crybaby he was. Like,
Yeah, he whines. He's a yapper to the
yeah,
refs.
I
He
didn't
rap yaps
I
a
don't
lot.
know. I was just a little surprised cuz like I only watch I only watched Mavs games like when the Celtics were playing them. So,
Correct. We will not.
I'm not like sitting here being like, "Oh, I'm super well versed in um
No.
Luca." But
Mhm.
seeing him, I was like, "Ooh, ooh boy, not cute."
What's poppin', Bernard? I'm still waiting for my copy of 2K. After seeing everything that's online, I want you guys to just don't have the giveaway, just give it away to me, so that I can play it and then stream it for the peeps. Because there's so much shit after watching stuff online. It's a cool game, and I think what we did with the bad gal to start Sarah
Mhm.
was a great intro and tutorial to what we could do with this game. I mean, with the island stuff, the Myrise, the showcase of the bloodline. I would just like to do that and talk about the bloodline and do those matches. After seeing Paul Heyman's introduction to it all, like how he introduced the matches and whatnot. And I sent you the one about his, or not about, but I sent you his intro to Roman versus Seth, and it's stuff like that makes you more invested to the actual feud itself in real time. Like now I want to see Roman Seth at WrestleMania. I want
Yeah.
to not maybe this year, but in a few years where it builds up to something even more and they go it's that becomes, I'll say the focal point
Mhm.
rivalry like what they're doing with Cody and Cena now.
Mhm.
That could be that type of hype for a WrestleMania. It really could. David, what's up? I'm not a prince. I'm a king, dude. Come on. Yeah, I'm a king.
He was
But you
saying it
can
to
be
be
my
nice,
princess.
okay?
Maybe he's doing with the alliteration, which if you are, I love alliteration. It's my favorite. So good job, Dylan. But happy to see you, pal. Um, Charlotte Flair. No, she's not, unfortunately. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else. Honestly, David, I know you're obsessed with Trish Stratus, but I am obsessed with this match too. I would like to see this happen in at some point. It doesn't seem like it's just a 2K25 type of match.
David's at McDonald's. Send me a McChicken. But can I
Yo,
have one that's not a spicy McChicken? Because I hate that they only offer that now at my closest McDonald's.
really? They don't have a regular McChicken?
No, it's just the spicy one. And like I don't necessarily dislike the spicy one, but I don't know if maybe you'll understand. You've had a spicy McChicken, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how
It's
it like
good.
can be like it leaves that like weird like taste in your mouth because of the spice? Like I don't know how to
Yeah,
it's like
I
not
know. I vaguely know what you mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not every single one. There's just certain ones where I'm like, see, this is why I don't like this. It's just like this whatever they use to spice it or whatever. It's like no. So that bums me out. I'm like, I just want a regular McChicken, bro, for a dollar.
What is your go-to McDonald's meal?
Oh, a McChicken. That's I'm not like a I'm not a fast food burger person. So,
Is that so you get McChicken, fries, and a drink?
mhm.
Okay. Because I'm obsessed with their McDoubles. So I'll get 2 McDoubles,
Jesus
large
Christ.
fry, 20 McNuggets.
She,
Yeah, it's I can eat like a horse. My
I
parents
am
call me the
aware.
human.
I am aware you even dropped popcorn on me.
I did. My parents call me the human garbage disposal. So it's
Well,
it's
you
true.
are a man.
I gotta
So,
eat. Look at this. You're not on Snapchat because I
I
didn't. I was
yes.
Snapchatting my friend. Also,
It's
yeah,
not
age. I get it.
2014.
You know what? Maybe. But I was at the gym earlier, and you know when like you're working out, you gotta look. You gotta look at yourself, and you're like, damn. Like that's how I look. So, we need to have an eat off, dude. And
I don't
I've been in one. I've been in an eating competition in college for my fraternity where you had to eat. It was 13 McNuggets, like faster than anyone. There was no like time limit. You just had to eat them as fast as you could. I got 7 in my mouth and then realized that I had to chew.
oh,
You know, you don't think, like you're just like, like you're going so fast. And then you get as many, like you realize that your mouth is a limited thing. You know, you can only
well,
put
it's
so
kind of
many
like
chicken nuggets in your mouth before you have to swallow them.
well, I think it's kind of like well, that reminds me, it's not chewing, but like when you take a shot and you're like, I just want to take it in one gulp, you
Yeah,
know? And then you
yeah,
get the whole thing in your mouth and you're like, fuck, I need to swallow it now.
yeah.
Because you like don't want to sip
Mhm.
it. You just want to take it.
No.
And then you're like, oh, it's not gonna be that bad. I'll take it in one
Oh my
swig.
god.
And then you like
Yeah.
subconsciously leave it in your mouth and you're like, this is making it worse.
It's
It's like
so much worse.
just swallow it, bro.
Go down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I can't do shots anymore. Thank God I'm at
That's
that
all I
age.
do. So
Well, all right. We doing shots in Vegas then? Fine.
sure.
I'll do if that's all you do, then I'll do some shots with you. Because
All right.
no person drinks alone in my presence. Let's lead it off. This is a couple of guys I'd love to get beers with, especially the Viper
Yeah.
himself, Randy Orton. Sarah, what happened when Randy Orton kicked off the show for us?
So this was his return to SmackDown after selling an injury for the past couple of months at the hands of Kevin Owens by getting hit with a pile driver. And we saw him obviously at Elimination Chamber, and him and KO kind of squared up a little bit. We didn't really get to see what we wanted to see, but it's clear this is the direction they're going in for WrestleMania. And I guess other than him hyping this up and letting that be more solid now,
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing that you can take away from his little promo or whatever is that he very much teased the return of the punt.
Mm.
And I don't know. I think that we're on the same page about this, but I do think it's an interesting conversation because there are a handful of moves that WWE banned over the years. The punt was one of them. The curb stomp was one of them for a while. I mean, they made him change the name to it. Now it's just the stomp, which is so stupid. And the punt was something that was legendary, specifically during Bald Randy Orton era, which we talked about like 2 weeks ago. And I think a lot of people were pretty disappointed when they got rid of it, but like it kind of made sense just given the highlighting of like concussions and head injuries and whatever. And there's been some talk over the years about what if they bring it back? Like there are other moves that they have brought back, or you know, they let Seth start doing the stomp again, like I said. And I feel like there was never really a good instance of where or when would it make sense for Randy to bring back the punt. And I feel like this is it. Like
Oh, this is it.
I can't think of another instance just because obviously like it has to be a very physical and violent and like deep rooted storyline and feud. I
There
feel
has
like
to
for
be
it to
a
feel
lot of hate. There has to be a
yeah,
lot of hate there.
yeah,
For it
but
to
this
happen.
feels like yeah, okay, I could get behind it for this. And it could be just like something that he brings back like on certain occasions. You know,
Yeah.
like if he ever goes heel and turns against Cody or something, bring it against Cody. You know, something like that. But and you know, but not like
Yeah.
on a regular basis,
No,
but I
and
feel
that's
like
what
this is a good start.
it is a good start. And the way that he introduced it back into, the Wrestleverse
Mhm.
with how after hitting the RKO, usually he would be done. He would be like, that
Mhm.
was it. I got my fix. But there was something that came over me that said, back up. The voices in my head. And that's when the crowd went fucking
Mhm.
ballistic again. They told me to back up and charge at you with the punt. And that's in my eyes, that's the proper way to introduce this move back because it's been something that the fans have been wanting for so long. And we are in a new era where things like that can be brought back, but not too much and not to the point where it's shoved down our throats. You
Mhm.
mentioned that I would like to see this against Cody. It makes sense for that. It's moments that you need to bring the punt back to make sense. It feels like it's like a super finisher in that it shouldn't be overly done. Like the RKO, yeah, it's the move that should be out, but like what happens if you're going up against a Cody Rhodes or a John Cena where you get 3 RKOs and that's not enough? They're another human wrestler.
Mhm.
The punt is that nail in the coffin, end all be all. Every superstar on the caliber of Randy Orton needs to have that.
Yeah.
And that's him, that's his super finisher now. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, and it makes sense in contrast to the pile driver that Kevin Owens has been using. So,
The package pile driver.
yeah, and he used it just on Sammy too. And you knew because leading up to that match, Sammy was like, you tried to end my career, but he just did it again. So it's like there's even more ammo there for Randy to be like, you know what? No, I'm going to flip it on you. And now I'm going to try to ruin your career. So I don't know. It feels like this is a good spot. And I'm getting a little bit more excited about this match. Like, it's not that I wasn't, it's just that obviously Randy just returned. So there hasn't been a whole lot building up between them. But I think that, I mean, the match is going to be good. So that's exciting at least. Um, and it's good to see Randy back.
It's great to
Um,
see Randy back.
yeah. Um, especially because it's like he goes away and he comes back. He goes away and he comes back. So, but I would say one build up that I'm not loving so far is
Oh, I read
definitely
it. Yes.
yeah, Tiffany Stratton and the Charlotte Flair build up. And it wasn't even something that I mean, I've kind of felt like this anyway because it's hard to say what their plan was exactly with Charlotte when she came back because it definitely was like, okay, she's going to have to come back as the heel, right? Because like Tiffany is not perceived that way, even if maybe internally that's how she's booked or whatever. She doesn't get that reaction from the crowd, so Charlotte has to be that way. But in a way, it feels like they're still trying to protect her or something because we've now seen it. What was that picture that someone put together 3 or 4 times that
Yeah, I saw
Tiffany
this too.
has been in a match and afterwards Charlotte comes out, beats her up, and then points to the WrestleMania sign? It's like, how many times do we need to see that? How many times does Tiffany need to get beat up by you and like looking like a chump? Like, this is the thing is like one of the issues that I've talked about with other feuds, especially leading up to Mania, I guess we can say specifically Gunther and Jey Uso, is the stuff that they're doing, it needs to make sense and it needs to be good for both of them, for what they're trying to accomplish with them before Mania. So, like, you
Mhm.
need to make Gunther look strong and dominant and like he's not going to get beaten. And make Jey Uso look like the underdog. Maybe he's losing matches before Mania, so his confidence is even getting worse. Why are we not doing kind of something like that with
Mhm.
Charlotte and Tiffany? Why are we making Tiffany look like a pushover to Charlotte? Why is Charlotte just sneak attacking her and do it? Like, why aren't we actually having like a back and forth with them? Or why isn't Tiffany doing something to her? It just feels, I don't know. This is just a pattern, I think, with Charlotte. Like when Charlotte is involved in a women's title match at Mania, it feels like they don't know how to build it up to get us excited.
I would suggest, and this, hear me out, you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I would much rather see Charlotte and Tiffany teaming in a sense, or aligning themselves together in a sense before this, for not so that they can be best friends and say, the best woman's going to win this match. No, it's an anything that you can do, I can do better type of unity, where Charlotte is obviously the pinnacle and the, what every champion strives to be in how long she's been champion, all that nonsense. Tiffany is the next rising star in that. Why wouldn't you have Charlotte think of her like she is right now, just like a pushover, just like nothing to be concerned with, but say, all right, if you believe it, like, I'm going to do this. And then Tiffany's like, no, I'm going to do the prettiest moonsault ever. And it's like, no, it's like that consistent one-upping would be a lot more interesting than the same thing recycled week in and week out. That's just to me.
And the thing is like, it's not even just this year that they've done this with Charlotte when she's in a match with, in a women's title match at Mania. It's like always the same thing. Like, I'm better than you. I'm the greatest women's wrestler of all time. You're just the underdog, blah, blah, blah. It's always the same thing, And so it's like, then when they're doing this with Tiffany, and it's like, the underdog story, I feel out of the even more recent matches that she's had, makes more sense in this regard, because Tiffany's been wrestling for 3-4 years at this point. Like, she was called up from NXT, like, not like what, a year ago. So it's like, that would make sense. But the fact that you've already done this with Rhea and whoever else Charlotte has faced in recent years, like, it just doesn't work. You can't have it be against every single person that she's against, because it gets old. So I feel like it's kind of an unfortunate thing that they're doing, but obviously that's the direction that they're going. And there's not a whole lot that they can do at this point. They can't change the story completely. And I don't know. It's just kind of frustrating, because we were talking about how it was possible that this could be like the night one main event. And I'm not saying that it isn't, or that it's not a possibility. But when you have this kind of build, I don't know how that argument is solid. How can you say that this is going to be a more desirable match to watch than whatever Seth, Roman, and Punk are doing? Like, I'm not more excited about this match than I would be about that triple threat potentially. And so that's the thing that I feel like sucks, because I feel like the women do deserve to have to be competing for that main event. But when you build a story like this, why would I want to see it? Just unfortunate.
It's not making a case
No.
for main eventing night one, where the other women's world championship match is really doing that on the other show. So it is a weird contrast.
Well, and isn't it interesting how a lot of people, not me, but a lot of people would say that Charlotte is like the best women's wrestler of all time. She's the best
people would say that. Yeah, that's the
But isn't it interesting how she missed Mania last year, but the Mania before that, the same problem with Charlotte. The title match that she was going to have had a mediocre buildup. It only became really hot in like the week or two before Mania.
The go home. It was the go home show. I literally remember us having a show after being like, yes, but this is what we wanted.
Yeah. And it's like, but it's like too little too late. I mean, I get that was a match that people were saying that deserved to be the night one main event. And of course it ended up being the tag title match. But I can't argue against that necessarily, because like even if Charlotte and Rhea absolutely killed it in that match and probably put on one of the best women's matches of all time, the buildup was not there to have made it the main event. The tag title match made you want to see that in the main event, even if people maybe felt like the match didn't live up to the women's match. You know what I mean? It's just like that's just how it feels again. And it's just kind of odd when you think about it that Charlotte is the common denominator in those situations. I don't know. I'm just saying. She's
second after Sasha Banks.
Dylan.
Not. I'll say those are not our top 2 4-horsewomen here on the show. I think we disagree with who one is.
I say Becky. You say Bayley.
I'm Bayley. Bayley is she is the greatest out of those. It's not even close in my eyes. It's Bayley is my GOAT when it comes to women's wrestling.
I honestly think 3 and 4 for me is between Charlotte and Sasha.
I think Charlotte's 4. Charlotte's 4.
And this is the thing. When people talk about the ranking of the 4 horsewomen, they're not, in my opinion, this is just an observation that I feel I've seen. People are not thinking about what it takes to be a great professional wrestler and all like what that means. It's not just putting on great matches and getting a bunch of titles, because then Charlotte's up there, Sasha's up there, like,
then she's number 1. If you want to go just accolades alone, yes, then Charlotte is the greatest. But
when we're talking about like, I don't know, character work and like helping put other talent over and like
fan interaction,
that kind of stuff, it's like, to me, that's why they go 3 and 4. It's like Becky, Bayley, and then I would have to really sit there and think about, like, is it Mercedes / Sasha 3 or is it Charlotte 3? And whoever isn't 3 is 4. And it's like, not because they're not good, but again, there's a lot more to being a professional wrestler than what you do in the ring. And a lot of people, I feel, and I'm not saying you, Dylan, I'm just saying in general, and I've seen this conversation with people, I think they don't think about that. They just are like, it's Charlotte because she's the greatest women's wrestler ever. And it's like, is she though? Like, are you just saying that because everybody says that, or what? Like, what are we doing? But anyway, I'm not even acknowledging your comment, Jay, because it's very rude.
Don't acknowledge him.
No, I don't.
Get it?
What I will acknowledge is
right.
Everybody needs to get on the hype train with me, because
yes, boy! Yes, boy! Yes, boy! Yes, boy! Yes, boy! Yes, boy!
Yes, boy!
You heard it here first, okay? If you guys, if I'm not saying this, if Pretty Deadly becomes a big thing, maybe they do, maybe they don't. I'm at the front. I'm the conductor, okay? All of you, get in the back.
Choo, motherfuckers.
So they are officially the number 1 contenders for the tag team titles on SmackDown. But first, DIY defends them against Street Profits, correct? Next Thursday or Friday?
Yeah, they have to. Whoever wins that championship match, that is who Pretty Deadly will be the number 1 contenders to. But Sarah, I have a feeling that we're gonna get a little bit of a dirty finish in that match because it's way too close to Mania.
No, see, they are facing. No, they're facing the Street Profits next week for the tag titles.
Yes, they are. No.
Okay. Oh, I thought you were saying no. Oh, so no. Who wins that is who Pretty Deadly faces, is what you're saying. Correct. Oh, yes. Okay. I got confused. Okay.
That's fine. But I'm saying that match is probably going to end up in a dirty finish.
Yeah, this is going to end up being probably, I would say, a multi-man tag match. I just want it to be like, can we limit it to 3 or something? Can we not do 5? But they're probably going to do 5 because there have been 5 tag teams. The only thing is that I don't love about that is, like, we witnessed it last year with the tag title matches, the match with the ladders and stuff. It's just very hard to watch because you're trying to keep up with so many people. 5 teams, it's 10 men. So there's just a lot going on. But I'm so intrigued by this like recent push for Pretty Deadly. I'm not mad about it. I think I'm just kind of confused because it feels like it kind of came out of nowhere.
It did.
Because when they first got called up, when they were first drafted to SmackDown, they definitely were getting pushed. Like they were on TV every single week, and it was like, all right, cool. Like they're getting something rolling and continuing what they were doing in NXT. Then Elton got hurt by the fridge, and that basically ruined their push for
That ruined their push for a little
yeah
bit. Yeah.
yeah and then once he came back, like they had a funny storyline obviously with Elton in the wheelchair
Pretty
and whatnot, and
identical.
Elton
Oh no,
Strong.
that was Elton
Yeah,
Strong was elite. That was an
but
elite time.
they didn't really do anything after that, and then they just started doing these like random funny spoofy things in the back, and so it's
Pretty
just been the
Deadly.
past like
Musical.
yeah. So it's been like the past couple months that they've been involved in the tag scene. And so this was very exciting. And the fact that they pinned Motor City Machine Guns.
That was shocking. That was really shocking that they pinned the Motor City Machine Guns.
You know that
I'm a
it's
fan of it.
shocking when you of all people text me about it, because
I
usually
was forefront.
I'll have somebody like post it to me on
Mhm.
Twitter and be like, "Oh my God, Sarah, Pretty Deadly tonight," blah 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 blah. Like, or Bernard, for instance, will be like, "Oh my gosh, Sarah, what do you think of what happened with Pretty Deadly?" And then I have to look and be like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" But when I get people texting me being like, "Oh my God, Sarah, Pretty Deadly," and I'm like, "What happened?"
I can't believe they like. I'm like, oh my God, they did it.
I
Like
know.
they did it. That's all. Like so happy.
I
They deserve to be in the tag team title picture. They're too good.
I
They're
know.
way too good at everything. And yeah, they're like their style in the ring. It connects with their characters. The ways they win, the little things they do, and their
Mhm.
moves are really good too. I sent you Kit's move, the
Yeah, the
tourniquet.
tourniquet.
It's
So
in,
cute. Did
it's
you
so good.
but
What?
the way he named it, like the Turn It kit.
Yeah, and it's for anyone who doesn't know, it is a twist of fate, which is homage to his favorite during that time, the Hardy when he was growing up. I mean, the Hardys,
Mhm.
and but it turns it into basically a code breaker with
Mhm.
the knees hit in the face. Incredibly athletic for them to
Mhm.
do, and honestly, pretty devastating. I gotta give it credit. Give them credit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I don't know. I'm excited about it. I'm still a little confused. It feels like they're booking them as baby faces, so that's a little bit confusing to me.
They
Because
are.
again, I don't know where that came out of. But I'm not super optimistic that they'll win the titles if they're involved in the match at Mania, because it definitely feels like they're trying to do something with the Street Profits. However, I'm just hopeful that they remain involved in some way, because, like you said, they definitely deserve it, and people need to take more notice of like just how good they are. Um, Do not even put this out into the universe, Dylan. How dare you?
No, that's going to be a long-term build. That's going to be long-term after Mania. They're working on a little partnership with them. I think it's brilliant. They're not going to be in the tag team title picture right now. Did you see the Pentagon that
Mm.
Nick Aldis drew? Those teams are going to be fighting at Mania if they go that direction. It is too late to have Mello and Miz, and it doesn't make sense because they're already out and trying to both be single stars.
Dylan thinks that Pretty Deadly will win, and then Street Profits take it off them. That seems more
Mm,
likely than them taking it off of Street Profits, but it also depends, because if they want to build the Street Profits to be like super evil bad guys, like they're kind of trying to do that right now, and they want to push Pretty Deadly as like super hardcore baby faces, then it might be good for them to be the ones that take it off of the Street Profits, you know?
mm-hmm.
But yeah, that it just depends. I don't know. We'll have to see. There's still a little like 6 weeks until Mania, so plenty of time for them to figure it out.
Correct.
Then I think probably like the highlight of the entire evening was Bianca Belair and Naomi finally coming face to face to discuss what happened at the
This was
Elimination
awesome.
Chamber and get to the bottom of the story, which basically it was Naomi said, "I did it for Bianca."
I did it for Bianca.
Yeah, that's what she said basically. Um And I think there was someone who already made a meme of it. I think they put like Naomi's face on.
Oh, they did. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good. CVV quote tweeted it with laughing
yeah,
emojis.
because then we had even predicted that. We were saying that we were like, I did it for Bianca.
I did
whoever.
it for Bianca.
So Naomi admits. Yeah. So Naomi admits that yes, she did it. She attacked Jade. That she did it to help Bianca because Jade didn't care about her. Blah blah blah. Everything was great. Okay, but I think I think the entire thing, like it wasn't even necessarily what they were saying. It was like how they were saying it, their acting, I swear to God those were legitimate tears and like legitimate cries.
It absolutely was.
When you think about, you're going to have to cry in this segment or an actor having to do that, it's very difficult for them to, or at least for me to like take it as sincere. That seemed sincere. Like the way that Naomi was like yelling for her to come back and talk to her when Bianca left the ring. Like, oh my God, that was like tugging on you because you're like, that sounds legit.
Well, it was the build up too. It was the whole build up to that moment where Naomi was trying to deflect and saying how Jade is holding you back and Jade's doing this. And Bianca's like, cut to stop the bullshit. Did you or did you not? And like, and they're going back and forth. She's like, no, like that. Sometimes when they are talking at the same time during a promo like that, it gets like, all right, like, no. But this worked. It felt real. It really felt like you were a little fly in the wall to something. And just the way Naomi's reactions of building, just like, yeah, I did it. Like they're just admitting to it. And then finally letting it all out, and just like everything came, calling her an ungrateful bitch as she leaves the ring, and calling her out what you were saying. Did you notice too that when Jade came out, what she was wearing was the white and the red marks to me was signifying blood. And the both of them were in black. I like it's little details like that connect the story and give it more legitimacy.
Damn.
Feel the wrath.
Sorry, DK Metcalf was traded.
Oh, where'd he go?
Steelers.
Oh.
Yeah, for a second round pick. And he signed a 5-year, $150 million contract.
Oh well, we weren't going to do that. We weren't going to do that. So,
anyway, okay, so, anyway, so yeah, this was good. I would say that it was the best promo segment, whatever, that the two of these girls have done in their entire career. And I know that we had talked about it when we were doing our reactions to Elimination Chamber, where you're like, Bianca has to be involved in this. Bianca has to be involved in this.
Still has to be. I still believe so.
I'm kind of 50-50 on it, honestly, because as much as I want to see Bianca like have a character change, and I still do, because as great as she is, I still think that like there's nothing that's like super great about her character. It's just like the same thing over and over again. And so it's like, I kind of want to see something different from her. This is killer for Naomi. Like this shocked me from Naomi, because I was saying, I think that of the two, Bianca could give us a better performance as a heel, as that evil girl who was like putting herself first, being selfish and taking Jade out. Naomi killed it in this, and like definitely came off the way that I was hoping whoever was the one that said that they attacked Jade would come off. So I'm almost like, I do want Bianca to be a little bit different, but this feels like such a good opportunity for Naomi to really establish herself as somebody like outside of Bianca and Jade, and really, I don't know, like put herself in WWE history, like as somebody who is bigger than, oh wow, she has like, she's the Feel the Glow girl and she dances and comes out to a black light. Like that's incredible. We know that, but like, I want to see more from her. And if adding Bianca to her side is going to, hinder her or like overshadow her, then I don't want it. You know what I mean?
I do. I think this is the perfect opportunity for her to establish herself on her own and go her own path, and I just I would like to see Naomi do something different than what we've seen from her, because it's in an era where it's possible, and it's possible for it to be done well, which is completely different than just doing it because, yeah, I can do it. Of course you can do it, but do you have the right story that makes it, convincing? Do you have the right people behind you that are guiding you in the right direction, that it's not lost and that it's not just random because you want to do something different? That's the difference now than when she tried to do it, back in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
There's no
So
story there.
yeah,
She
I
left
don't.
and came back and found her own,
Mhm.
like she learned a lot from being away. Let's see what she learned, come into the picture.
Yeah. See, but that was also 11 years ago.
That's what I'm referring to, that
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah. So no, I was talking about Calvin's comment, by the way.
No, when
Oh,
he
okay.
said that, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It didn't work
Got
out,
it.
but that's because
Yeah, I think we'll have to wait and see, because obviously if it kind of doesn't hit this time either, there is still that opportunity for them to throw Bianca into it and kind of help elevate her being a heel. So like leaving that door open would be great, I think, just in case, because you could have the same argument for John Cena. Will John Cena heel turn in 2025 hit? We don't know, because the thing is as shocking as it was to everybody, and now they want to claim it's the most shocking heel turn in history, which I don't agree with, but people have been begging for him to turn heel for over a decade, probably nearly 15, closer to 15
15
years.
years.
So there is going to be a subsection, us included in a way, that are going to be so excited and have a hard time booing Cena because we have wanted to see this for so long. So it's going to be like, okay, is Cena going to be able to be that guy that they want him to be? Are the fans going to react the way that they want him to react? They might have to pivot. It's the same thing with Naomi. Like, I'm not saying that Naomi and Cena are on the same level, but they have to adjust. You could even talk about what happened in the build up to WrestleMania 40 last year. They didn't want Rock to be a bad guy, but they had to force it because the crowd was dictating the direction of that story. So it might be the same thing with Naomi. If it doesn't work, they're going to have to figure something out. And I think keeping an opportunity open for Bianca to join, which it still makes sense at this point, because this could all be acting between Naomi and Bianca, and I think that
we could be swerved.
It could be.
We could be
Yeah.
getting swerved.
And Naomi is all right with being like the scapegoat right now. Like, that could be a really intriguing story. The final boss likes the idea of the meta girls.
Yes, we do.
joining.
Yes, we do. We stand. I would love to see that.
That would be pretty great, because they were so involved with the tag titles, since Bianca had them, whether it was with Jade or whether it was with Naomi. I think that makes a lot of sense. But I also think that we kind of need to see how it goes for Naomi on her own as a heel before adding more girls to it, and then it flopping further. You know what I mean? Because then there's no point in bringing girls up that you want to have on the main roster eventually if the first go about being on the main roster is a flop. Like, that does more harm than good.
Does.
Anyway, moving on to this. Okay, so some people were talking about, we assumed that we were going to get Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa at Mania, and I'm not saying that isn't a possibility still. However, they're not. It feels like they're kind of stepping away from it a little bit, and it's like, yeah, there's still 6 weeks until Mania, but it's like there's only 6 weeks till Mania at the same time, So it feels like we need to go more headfirst into that, and they've inserted Braun Strowman into this, so it kind of feels like, are we going to just see big man versus big man? Like, do they not think that Jacob and Solo are like a good enough match on their own that they want to throw Braun in there? Is it going to be a triple threat? Is it just going to be this? Like, I don't know that I really dig Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu. Like, I get the appeal because it's like two big dudes, but the story that I care about more is Jacob Fatu versus Solo. Like, I know that might not be the common take from people, but the history between them, I feel like that makes it a far more intriguing match to see than, oh, let's just throw a bigger dude against him because we want big dudes on the TV. Like, I don't know. What do you think?
No, I don't mind. It's not that I want to see this match of Mania. I don't think it's going to happen at WrestleMania. To me, this just seems like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a red herring feud. Like it's going to be leading us to more. Solo gave up his spot in the I think it was the U.S. tournament that they were doing to be the number one contender. He gave up his spot for Jacob, and then he lost. Obviously, Braun Strowman is coming after the family, the bloodline, and Jacob's getting the job done, but Solo could have a where it's like, oh, he's just going, I can do it too, inferiority complex. I would much rather see that.
Yeah.
To me, there's so many other things going on in the road to WrestleMania that this is just like, if it works out, great, and it'll be a great addition. But if not, I'm not losing sleep over it, and I don't care as much to get as fired up and passionate about it because we have so many other things that are happening on the road. So
yeah, no, I get it. This is like kind of one of those Mania matches anyway that's like secondary that you're just like, oh yeah, it's on the card because you want them on the card. Like,
correct.
I don't really care, like one way or the other.
No.
I just felt like we were leaning towards one thing, and it's hard to imagine that after this past year of what they were doing with Solo that they wouldn't have him in a Mania match. But if they don't, I guess that kind of tells you what they think of Solo, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know. That would be very confusing to me.
It's so interesting to see what they think of Solo right now. It's me. I don't think they have the highest of hopes in the present time for him. I think they have like higher hopes in the future.
But like, isn't it kind of crazy to think about like how the past year has gone for Solo? Because at this point last year, he was still, in the bloodline by Roman's side. He was still defending him, whatever. And afterwards, it was like full blown into he's the next tribal chief and he creates his own bloodline.
You called it.
Paul Heyman is his wise man. So it was like, all right, they're really setting this up for him to be that guy. And then it just didn't ever happen. So it's kind of wild to think about how he's in a position now where it's like, oh, is he going to be at Mania? Is he not going to be at Mania? Like, I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
It's crazy.
Anyway, then we got to see Cody Rhodes rocking that shiner from Travis Scott.
Bully Ray wants to commit first degree murder against. Do you see his comments? Jesus, like I like Bully Ray, but like calm down, dude.
No,
I understand, but like, dude, you're getting a little hot. You're getting a little hot over it.
Yeah, I mean, we already talked about this. And I don't love that Travis was allowed to do this, and I also feel like it's not a good look on him to be allegedly training and he doesn't know like wrestling 101. Like, you don't actually fucking hurt
he's
them.
Still learning. Yeah, he's still learning. Like,
but like this is basic stuff. So that's the thing. It's
correct.
Like that makes him look bad. It makes Triple H look bad. You can tell that Cody's trying to protect Travis by being like, he didn't even hit me, and it's like, we have eyes, bro. Like, we all saw it in real time.
Stop being a politician. Like, stop being. That's a great PR move, Cody. Love it, but no.
Yeah, no, that you very easily could have tried to like cover that up with makeup, and you didn't. Which, we
I like.
It.
I'm a fan. I like it.
So anyway, I don't love the Travis Scott thing, but it is what it is. We can't take anything back. They have to deal with that, not me. So Cody goes out there, and this is the first time that we have heard from him, obviously, in a week since he was beaten down by John Cena and The Rock at Elimination Chamber. And I really liked that he was really leaning in on the John Cena thing, because it's like, I don't know. I think that he could have focused on The Rock. That is easy to do. However, I do think that even if you haven't been watching wrestling for the past year, you're familiar enough with The Rock to know that you can't trust him. So like him deciding that he's turning against Cody completely again, it's like that's not surprising. John Cena turning on me is surprising. Like he even mentioned, he was there and he helped me win the championship last year, and he said all these things, and he's like put me over, and like all of these things that Cena has done for him over the past nearly 3 years. That felt like that's more impactful, but then also putting the responsibility on John to be like, you need to come out and explain your actions. I'm not going to come out here and say why you did what you did. You don't have to explain it to me. You have to explain it to them. And that's definitely a typical Cody Rhodes pandering thing. But at the same time, that is something John Cena has done for a very long time, and has done it since he came back for his retirement tour, making it all about the fans and the fans' reactions and owing it to them to explain or say this or say that. So I think that's a really cool way to go about this, because that puts Cena in a different position than I think anybody else would normally be in after what they did. Not having to come out and be like, why are you siding with The Rock? Like, no one fucking cares,
Yeah,
the fans want to know why you did it to them. Why did you do it to us and to our champion? Why did you turn on us and side with him? Why did you turn on us and take out our favorite champion? Like that is going to be interesting to see how Cena responds.
It was nice. I like that too, because Cody took the high road as the champion. There's so many times where the champion could easily come down and be like, why did you do what you did? I'm the face of the company. You answered to me. The fans love me and all this stuff. But Cody went into the, babyface side of the being champion, and that like, no, I don't care. I'm going to fight you at WrestleMania, whether you tell me or not. But you have given the fans over 20 years of hustle, loyalty, respect, and you threw that all away in that one night on your retirement tour. I don't care what the reason is, but the fans sure do, and you need to explain to them why, because of what you did for them over the years. You at least owe them an apology or an explanation. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah. And I think like I said, like that is the way that you should spin this story, because I think it's obvious to the fans probably why Cena did this, because this is his retirement tour. He does want to win number 17. This is his last WrestleMania. He wants to make sure that he's in the main event. Like, we don't really need an explanation of why you did it necessarily, because we can already come up with why. Like those are probably why, even if we don't agree with how you got there. Yeah, you're putting yourself first, you're being selfish, and it just so happens to involve The Rock, who used to be one of your like biggest rivals. So I don't know, this got me a lot more excited, I think, because there's some, I would say maybe a little bit of concern from fans, because obviously Cena is not going to be around on a weekly basis, and he's actually not going to be there until not this Monday,
this week, but it'll be next week.
Yeah.
But then he's like scheduled for like 6 in a row.
Yeah.
Which is great.
So I think that this is like a good way to help set up, like, all right, what are we expecting when he comes back? Because they very easily could have kept Cody off TV for a while to like sell the injury a little bit more and have Cena show up first. But this is putting the ball in Cena's court, and he can't run away from it, and he's going to have a lot to respond to. And I feel like, I don't know, very interesting.
That first promo is going to hit like crack, Sarah. Like
hearing what song he uses, which he doesn't have to change it.
No, he does. He has to.
John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they don't have to. And your time is up. My time is now. Hello. That fits Cody.
I want to hear the other one. I'm not saying he shouldn't
change it. I'm saying I don't think he has to. Like, there are people who are hell bent on he has to change his attire. He has to change his song. Like, everything has to be different. And it's like, it doesn't. He could.
I think the attire does need to change. I think the attire needs to change.
I think if he just comes out in like a darker aesthetic, like wear black jorts.
I
Cena's
don't think
not wearing
maybe not
anything
jorts.
else. Black
No,
jorts.
he had the whole the ring. He said on TV. He has a whole
I know, but like
song, and I want to hear the song. Out of anything that we could get, I want to hear that song.
Maybe
Fear My Name. I want to hear it. Right?
I
think so. No, I think he is. I think he is. I think they're gonna do something. I think he's gonna win.
I don't think there's a certain way, like you can't be certain one way or the other. I think that if we were talking about him just being a normal John Cena, like the John Cena that we expected, I would say he's not beating Cody. But I think now that we have The Rock involved, we have Cena as a heel. I think there's like it's a completely different thing now. Like there's no way that you can say one way or the other what's going to happen, which is kind of nice because we all went into WrestleMania 40 knowing that Cody was going to win. So it's kind of nice that a year later, it's like, is he going to win? Is he not going to win? Is Cena going to win? Is Cena not? Like, does he want to win 17 at Mania as a heel? I don't know. Like, would it be more fun if he wins 17 and like everybody can be excited? You know, I don't know. That's going to be like a hard decision, I feel.
I still can't believe that we talked to people on the train in Philly that were hell bent that Roman was going to win, and they were trying to. It felt like they were trying to justify it to themselves.
But
you know what I mean? Like when you're talking to someone and you feel something, you're like trying to convince someone else, but simultaneously trying to convince yourself. That's what it felt like when we were talking to these two people.
Well, and I think what makes that whole thing worse is that the girl had met Cody at work earlier that day and
she was like
and took a picture with him and then was saying how much she hated him. And I was like, girl, you couldn't fucking pay me enough to ever take a picture or meet like with a wrestler that I did not like. Nor would I be like, hey guys, I hate Cody Rhodes, but he came in my work today. Look at my phone.
Yeah,
like I would not do that. You know what I mean?
Who is a wrestler that you will say like hate right now that you would not get a picture with?
Like currently in WWE or just in general?
Like you would be adamantly just we'll say WWE for the easy purpose, but like
okay, because I was gonna be like Matt Riddle. Oh fucking
never. No, I don't care about like I don't not that. I'm saying like you see them at your work or wherever, and there's an opportunity, clear opportunity for you to take a picture, and you're like, nah, I'm good. Like I feel like that's easier than just being like, take a picture with me.
I probably
and she had like a mope on her face too. I was like,
no, I know.
Doing,
and it's like, girl, you didn't have to. Yeah, I wouldn't take a picture with Logan Paul.
Valid. I would.
I wouldn't. Well, Baron Corbin's gone. Nothing. I mean, I feel like this is controversial, but like, if Jey Uso were there, I would not.
But you go up and meet him though.
I don't think I'd care.
Oh, I would.
I also met Jey. I met Jimmy and Jay in 2012. So yeah.
Well, while we're just wrapping here, alien technology. Cena has become the Winter Soldier. Yes, that is yes.
Oh, I thought that was me. I thought he meant Sara. I was like, what does that mean?
No, he's spelling it phonetically. No, the Winter Soldier. That is the best comparison that I can make to what this heel Cena is going to be. He's the Rock's lackey, and the Rock's bitch for that regard. And I know you haven't really seen Marvel movies, Sarah, but the Winter Soldier was basically a machine for the enemy. They're called Hydra. And he was pretty much like a machine that they made. He's actually Captain America's best friend from childhood. Like they went to the military together, grew up, all that. And he was like the ultimate good guy. Got killed or something I forget because I haven't watched in a bit. But then they found him and then brought him back and trained him to be like a killing machine. He actually ended up killing Tony Stark's parents. Spoiler alert. But like that's like he's that type. Like that's what I'm saying. Like he trained. Like it's not his thoughts. It's Hydra's. That's what we're getting with the Cena is that he is under the mind control of the final boss. So
Yeah, no, I'm into it.
All right.
Hold on.
Let me get to more comments while you wrap up there. We do need Sara in a Yeet shirt. I will have to make that happen in Vegas. I would meet Damian Priest in a heartbeat. I'm
he's
a big
another
fan
one
of
that
Priest.
I would be kind of like, you know, like just because it's like, do I need to? No.
I love Damian Priest when he was United States champion on Smackdown.
Yes, yeah,
as
I
the
hated
Archer
him.
of Infamy.
Yeah,
oh,
no,
I
hated
loved
him.
it. I was a big fan of Damian Priest as the Archer of Infamy when he first came on SmackDown.
Nah.
And the whole Bad Bunny stuff too. I don't know. I'm a fan.
I mean, I guess if it was like Judgment Day, Damian Priest, maybe, but in general, no.
Timu Taker.
Timu Taker. I don't know. That's what I have to call him now because that's what Drew said.
That's what.
So
there's
no
what Drew
going back
calls him.
now. Speaking of Drew and Damian Priest, that's weird.
No,
does anyone care about this?
Yes.
You actually care.
I like it. I'm a fan of it. You need to have just why?
What is interesting about
because
this?
Sometimes there's feuds that don't need championships. There just needs to be hatred. And between these two right now, there is hatred. Drew has a lot of hate in his heart just to start. And Damian is trying to make a name for himself on the new brand SmackDown. It's perfect that these two are going up against each other for that reason alone. But also for WrestleMania, the difference in a year from these two, both at WrestleMania being world champions to now facing each other and having a blood feud nonetheless. You need feuds like this to elevate superstars and keep them relevant so that when it's time for them to fight for a championship, it doesn't seem out of the blue. It's like, oh, they just came off this hellacious feud. Yes, of course they deserve a title shot or whatnot. And people forget that Damian Priest is sneaky good on the mic too. So the war of words that these two could have against each other in preparation for a potential WrestleMania match, I'm all for. I love it. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like the intro to SmackDown, Sarah. The intro when he beat him up while he was walking in. Like, it's little stuff like that to just add a little fuel to the fire.
I don't know. I'm just not. I think it's just because like I was hoping that Drew was going to have a bigger story, for Mania, maybe doing something with like Roman or something specifically, just because of he was looking like he was going to be the destroyer of the bloodline. And it would be kind of cool if he could have a match with Roman. And I mean, technically, I feel like that could still happen, but they're definitely not doing it just because obviously they're going with Seth Punk, or at least that's what it looks like. And I feel like that could be a good match. And then why not do Roman Drew? But obviously that's not happening. So I think part of like, I was hoping for something bigger. And so that is already working against this. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not excited about it for multiple reasons. And then I don't know. I'm just not into it. So
I am. I think it'll be pretty good. It's already I am more on the side of seeing this match than what we saw last year at Mania between the Uso brothers. I think this will be a better match entirely.
Yeah, I hope
build
so.
up and match itself. Absolutely will. Yeah, Final Boss is right. Damian Priest took a lot of inspiration for his character from Razor Ramon.
No, I know.
Which, Sarah, I also texted you that Wrestling Jeopardy did a whole dedication to Scott Hall this week.
How did they do though?
What do you mean? How'd they do?
Did they when they answered the question?
No. Oh, no. So Wrestling Jeopardy is a channel where this guy Kevin J. Callis hosts Jeopardy for the viewers. So we're the participants. Like, we're watching the video, and we have to answer said questions that he asks, and he does it literally verbatim set up like regular Jeopardy. I want to do it on the show. A lot of streamers do it on their channels and try to, play the game themselves. I think it'd be a great thing for us to do. Because the questions do range from like, yes, shit, we got to know as, the platform we have, we need to know this. But then it gets into the wild shit where it's like, you may know it because of a niche in wrestling that you dove into and you know it compared to me who I've never been into that and vice versa. It could be just I know it more than you because that question, the hard question of the week was from this niche that I got into a rabbit hole of. I think we should be doing Wrestling Jeopardy. I'm telling you. Well, that's in the cards for sure.
It would be fun.
And the questions that they gave about Scott Hall were really good. They weren't just bullshit like,
is it a video?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, did you send it to me?
I think I did. Yeah.
Oh.
If I didn't, I'll send it to you again. It's like they have the easiest of easy questions where like, oh, yeah, of course I know that one. And then you have ones that are like, what was, it's about his gimmicks or about him and from like AWA, So it's really cool. Definitely. And
right.
yeah, it's next topic.
LA Knight.
Thank God.
He had a title match against Shinsuke. Obviously, it was canceled the week before because Shinsuke's brother passed away. So that is why they had to put it off for a week. And the thing about this is I have so many thoughts on this because it just doesn't make any sense to me. This is another example of kind of like what they did with the Intercontinental Championship. Put it on Braun Breaker, and it was like, okay, cool. Like this makes sense. Took it off him to give Jey Uso a month of a title reign, just to give it back to Braun Breaker after that. This is exactly the same thing, but with LA Knight and the US title. LA Knight has the US title. Finally, he has a mid-card championship because clearly he is stuck in the Smackdown vortex of long-time WWE champions that he'll never get the title off of. So he got the US title. They then decided Shinsuke Nakamura is going to come back with a dark, cool character, take the US title, and then do nothing with it for 56 days, and then give it right back to LA Knight. So I think this is what I always consider in these types of situations is this didn't make sense for either one of them, honestly. Like, there was no need to take the title off of LA Knight when they did. It would have worked or it would have made more sense had they done anything with Shinsuke, but they didn't. They did like virtually nothing with him. And they bring this new music, this new darker vibe, like this whole new shift in his character, and did nothing with it. So it was like, okay, but we're supposed to believe that this guy took the title off of LA Knight or that he should have taken the title off of LA Knight. And then he has it for a little over a month. And then it's like, oh, okay, we're giving it back to LA. Like, when you think about situations like this, it should benefit both of them, even if we hate it, right? Like, if we're gonna talk about the Braun Breaker situation and the Jey Uso thing, I'm never gonna be okay with it. But if the long-term plan was for Jey to win the World Heavyweight title at Mania, they were like, we need to give him a singles title before this because otherwise this doesn't make any sense. Like, there's almost nobody that really goes from never having a singles title to their first singles title being the WWE Championship. So that was like, all right, like, even if it's kind of screwed over Braun Breaker in the process, they were like, we got to do this for Jey. What exactly did this do for either LA Knight or Shinsuke Nakamura? Like,
it didn't do anything at all. To me, this felt like they had plans for Shinsuke, and based on the crowd reaction and what they perceived online, that they would much rather have LA Knight hold the championship, whether he's defending it or not, because he's there and he's doing stuff. And it seems like, with Shinsuke's out of work, issues that may have played a role into this. It seems like that played more of a factor than anything. And it's sad to hear that. And that's just life. But, they got to pivot. And at the end of the day, LA Knight is U.S. champ again, so there's the relevancy back. So why not have him hold it for a bit? You have the Miz, you have Mello now, you have Andrade, that are potential opponents and challengers for the title. Go with that direction,
And I do like that LA Knight is going to go into Mania as the US champion. I do like that. Because we were like, all right, what is LA Knight going to do at Mania? I mean, it's possible that he doesn't get on the card. And maybe they do something with him on SmackDown. They're like, it's an extension of Mania, like what they were kind of doing last year. But still, I like that he's going to be a champion, because I was going to say, if he really goes into another Mania with like no direction for anything, then that's another huge miss by WWE, because they cannot keep doing that kind of stuff to LA Knight.
No, they can't.
And yes, that was Nakamura's only defense. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, it was very weird.
It's not great at all. So
it seems like the fans aren't as into Nakamura anymore as they were years ago, which is very sad to see.
I think part of that is I think some of it is because of their failed attempts with him in the past, where it was like, when Vince tried to make him a heel and it just didn't work. But then he also like kept coming and going, and there was a lot of time in between those moments. And so it feels like people aren't going to be as excited if you keep like coming for a month and then you're gone for 6 and then you come back, and also I think unfortunately it comes with age too. Like, he's not the same Shinsuke Nakamura that debuted, 10 years ago. But I don't know. I still appreciate him. I was hoping that they were going to do something cool with this new character. It just does not look like they are. So that's unfortunate. Anyway, and then you added this, but I forgot.
I added this. This needed to be talked about. This was my favorite thing that I saw on SmackDown this week. Hell of a match.
First of all, I might have to get that shirt that Chelsea came out with. The one that's the rip-off of Mick Foley.
Incredible.
I might.
Another reason why Chelsea Green is on 5 different levels than any other woman in the division.
So good. Also, you always spell her last name wrong, and I'm just noticing it now.
Yeah, get her.
But anyway,
I'm not the best speller.
No, it's okay. It's just like the color. How about that?
Okay, I'll remember that.
Her last name is just like the color. But yeah, so I really liked that. And I like that they're like allowing that to happen, kind of like what they did with Dominic Mysterio doing the Latino cheat. Like, I like that because it does bring that nostalgia, but it brings it to obviously current era, and it fits, like the way that Chelsea is trying to create this, aura about her as the US champion. I love it. And this, again, it was a great match between her and Michin. And her and Piper, I'm sorry, obsessed. I'm obsessed.
I am completely obsessed with the whole cabinet and everything they're doing with building up Chelsea Green to be your Miss President or whatever of the US.
Yeah.
And the match itself was fantastic. I have to throw, like, it was so good, from the coast to coast spot that Chelsea had. That was incredible. With Michin, with the fire extinguisher was great. What was the other? There was one more with the kendo stick. Thank you. The kendo stick. And the end of the match when Michin finally gets Chelsea on the table. And that was something, let me backtrack a little bit. Something that I really liked about this match was the crowd was wanting tables the entire time, and they were teasing it. And then Chelsea would get a lick in, and she put the table away. And then Chelsea's on the ground. Michin goes to get the table. Piper Niven goes in, interferes, so she can't get the table. And now she finally gets the table. The whole build to this match was to put Chelsea Green through a table. And when she puts her on the table breaks a little bit, like one leg just snaps. And Michin, instead of this is a vet move, she just goes, gets up on the top rope anyways, does her finisher signature move through it, and you get the 1, 2, 3, but not a 3 because she gets pulled out by a hooded person. Hooded person interferes, hits Michin with a Canadian destroyer. Who is that person under the hood? But Alba Fire. And she hits her own salute by pledging her allegiance to Chelsea Green, being now another addition to her cabinet.
I love it.
Oh, it's awesome. It's so good.
You know what makes this immediately made me think about, like, they're keeping Alba around and then deciding to not keep Isla. Very interesting. I
can understand why, though. I can understand why.
Well, part of it I would assume their contracts are not the same. You know, like obviously Isla's must have ran out first. And they just didn't keep her around. But it'll be really interesting to see what they do with Alba, because we've seen in the past when they like break up a tag team, and especially female tag teams, and one of them ends up leaving. The other one might be like okay at first, but it usually goes downhill fairly quickly, and then they end up getting released eventually as well. So I hope that's not the case with Alba, but history has shown us that that's more likely than not. So how they incorporate her into this, and like how much they let her do beyond just being like a little minion with Chelsea Green, that'll be fascinating to see, because we have not seen her in a singles capacity. So
we haven't really since NXT UK, when she was, and she is, the longest reigning NXT UK women's champion. So that definitely plays a role into why she's still here. There's bigger roles for her. The problem is the division right now. There's a lot tied up in the women's world title match, and then with this whole stuff with Charlotte and Tiffany, it's tough to break through. So there is going to be use for her, but it's going to be have to be after WrestleMania.
Well, and right now Chelsea Green is like one of the hottest things that you could.
She is the
attach yourself
best
to.
thing going. Best thing going in WWE right now, at least for the women. Top 3 for the entire brand is Chelsea Green, and that's facts.
Yeah,
I hate to break it, but it's fucking facts.
Did you want to talk about this?
No, we'll talk about it on the Thursday show.
Okay, got it.
Because I would much rather have a discussion there about it.
Alrighty.
And I want more thoughts on it.
Got it.
We already have some results from the Revolution show on AEW.
Yeah.
We both got Big Boom getting the win. Huge. But Hangman defeated MJF.
Didn't I say contest. Hangman?
You did. That's what I wanted. That's why I'm bringing it up. That's exactly why I'm bringing it up, Sarah, is because you said Hangman would win. I said that MJF would get the first win. But, it's sometimes okay to be wrong. On Twitter, the finish was pretty cool. So
I love being right about things I know virtually nothing about. It's almost easier.
Wrestling. That's why.
I know, but it's like it's almost easier if you just have like no super big knowledge or deep knowledge or any emotional attachment to anything to pick, because I think sometimes it can be hard to like put your fandom aside when you're trying to do that, because you're like, I just want to see my guy win.
That's what I did with MJF.
I know.
I was all in. This is why when we make our predictions for the WWE shows, this is why I don't use my fandom as a reason why I want, because 90% of the time I'm wrong. Yes, I would have loved to see KO hoist both WWE championships at the end of Royal Rumble, but that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
that's not it. Sometimes your fandom does not matter. It's your fandom of the brand, and the entire show is what matters. So so I should stop picking Dakota Kai. Yes, you should. yes, you should for the time being. Her, Ivy Nile. Those are 2 in the women's division. I'm trying to think of more like Mello. Don't pick Mello to win for a little bit. That's one guy. Another guy in Raw, Finn Balor. Sorry, Sarah, but don't pick him to win anytime soon. Let's go on and on. That's all we got for you guys here on the Smackdown Breakdown. We'll be back on Tuesday to rewind and recap Monday Night Raw on Netflix as we are on the road to WrestleMania. Sarah, only a few more weeks before we are in Vegas, living it up with the peeps once again. God, it's a great time. It is the most wonderful time of the year, like Andy Williams says. So that's why you got to hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live, because we're going to be posting. We're going to be doing some shit in 2025. You got to be on the up and up. We're already on the up and up in TikTok.
Over 630 followers now.
That's huge. And we got 2,200, I'm pretty sure, on YouTube.
2240.
2240.
Last I looked.
Let's get 2250 by the next show. That'd be really good. Get 10 more subscribers before Tuesday. We already have I think, yes, 7 people now, but if in 109 on Twitter. So if those 7 people and a few on Twitter just told a friend to subscribe, we're there. That's all it takes, word of mouth. So be a friend, tell a friend about the show, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms, TikTok, No Nights Off Show, and our personal ones are in the links in the description below. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. And remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. Oh, fuck. I forgot. We have an interview coming out. Before I mentioned. Interview coming
this week.
out. Is it? Yeah. I don't know what day.
I haven't picked the day yet. Maybe tomorrow.
Okay, we haven't picked it. Maybe tomorrow. All right. But that's coming out. It is with MLW's featherweight champion, Delmi XO. Her and I sat down here in the Artist Streams for a nice conversation as she prepares for her title match and potentially her championship match, because she might be in the Battle Riot 40-man Royal Rumble style match at Battle Riot Saturday, April 5th in Los Angeles. Battle Riot. I sat down with her. We talked about that and a few other things on the indies because she is a limitless girl and I love my limitless wrestling. So we talked about that. Be on the lookout for that this week. That's why you got to have the bell notification on. So back to what I was saying before. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. See you on